favor. This is one more, please. Hello and welcome to Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
Episodio 54.
54. Let's get it.
How are you today, Koke?
Fantastic, man. I'm excited to finally be back in our home studio. The Otra, por favor studios here, a short walk from Q2, and I can't wait to get into what we're going to get into today.
Yeah, man. One thing that we did last week, we took a quick break because we went to record with Jorge Iturralde.
Yes, sir.
With the guys with Club Deportes. Give big shout out to them and the crew that, they welcomed us into their space.
Yeah.
And how did you, really quick, how did you feel about going there to a different setting?
It was exciting, man. Shout out to my tocayo, Jorge Iturralde, for opening up his studio and his shows to us. We were on Fútbol en Vivo. Great segment, great setup, and it was just nice to be able to do an entire episode in Spanish and in a very exciting way with Jorge and kind of discussing Austin FC's form in a different setting and environment. And this is a man who's very seasoned at what he does and well respected in the journalistic sports community. So anything that we could absorb from that gentleman, I'll take it in, man. So gracias tocayo.
Yeah, man, it was good. One thing we don't have to worry about is setting up. We just went in, recorded, and then got out.
Yeah, I really felt like a superstar. But no, man, it was great. And then after that, we did an episode with David Alvarez and...
Dude, I forgot his name, but I can find it right now. And then we should have thought about that earlier, but...
Yeah.
Dude, it was just... I was thinking about that. Like, man, because I remember, like, Mau Golos remembered his name without, like, having to look at it. He said paso, but let's keep on going, and then we can come back to it.
For sure, man. But now I'm excited to be here in our home studio, ready to talk about a few things. So as you know, Otra por favor is a podcast dedicated to football, life, and culture, and everything that makes that great. Mm-hmm. And in today's episode, we're going to focus on the football aspect of it. It's going to be heavy on the football. So some of the things we're going to discuss: Austin FC's current form, future prediction. Discussions amongst our ideas and opinions there, and also getting into
Eric McCoy.
I
was gonna say Eric McGrady, but it's Eric McCoy.
Thank you, Richie.
It's all good.
Eric McCoy, big Chelsea fan. Welcome us to the studio. Super professional guy too. So, that was really cool to be a part of that, man. And I hope we can continue to maybe bring him on to the Otra por favor podcast soon. But yeah, we're gonna go over Austin FC, All-Star, Liga MX. Versus MLS, and address the elephant in the room. The team of our hearts.
Hearts.
Unfortunately, is going through a tough economic time, and a lot of eyes and scrutiny on them. A lot of criticism. A lot of people waiting for the empire to crumble. But I'm excited to get into that, man.
Let's start with the Barcelona part first.
All right.
So from what I've been reading and also listening to and TV it's for me, what I'm understanding is they're selling their revenue that's gonna right now that's about to happen right now. They're sort of turning it into a loan, and it's gonna be a debt for future projects.
Right.
So basically, you're gonna make revenue. Of course, you're gonna have the sales, but then all the incoming cash flow is going to be going towards paying off a long-term debt. I don't think what they're doing is a good idea. There's two things why. One is you have this project of La Masia that you have not been really focusing on for a while. We've had some players here and there recently, but it's not something that you probably did in between 2003 to like 2010 when Busquets came out. Xavi came out, Iniesta came out. So you're losing focus on that La Masia part, and that was crucial for them winning championships.
Mm-hmm.
And now all you're doing is pretty much you're basing your hopes on incoming players that, it's always good when you bring incoming players, but the influx of good players that you're bringing in to a new project, not really building from what you had, I don't think it's the right idea. I think there should be more depth coming from La Masia part. But if they're doing some good work in it, my question is, what are they doing at La Masia? Like, what are they doing to bring players out? That kind of like project has kind of stalled, and we haven't seen anything from that.
No, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, the players that they're bringing in, they brought in Robert Lewandowski, Andreas Christensen, Jules Kounde. These are quality players with experience versus the youth of La Masia. So I believe that it can balance out the team and help Xavi get more of that idea in his players with having true leadership in his inside his locker room. People that are tested and proven, like Lewandowski, such a goal scorer, number 9. Barca hasn't had a true number 9 in I don't even know how long.
Since Suarez?
Yeah, since Suarez, man. But essentially, Barcelona still cannot register these summer signings,
right?
Because La Liga has rejected that attempt because they found after an audit that they are inflating the value of 2 asset sales. So there's a lot of movements in the books. I mean, you know books, Richie. I'm reading about this and I'm seeing like a lot of funny business. I don't know. This is kind of like more Ozark season something than Barcelona's summer season, but it's kind of scary to look at that you did all these moves, you're spending all this money, when at the same time you're asking your senior players that are there to get a salary reduction.
That's another. So
what kind of feelings are you doing in the locker room where you are asking for salary reductions? You're not even paying the full salaries of Luc de Jong,
right?
And you're buying players on the other side of the coin, and then you're kind of reinvesting in yourself, and that you get a slap on the wrist where you might even have to pay taxes to Spain, to the Spanish government. So it's really hard, man. Like seeing all these palancas are articles that I would rather not read, because to me you go further and further away from the football.
Yeah, you get into the more political and, the pantalon largo part.
Yeah, but it's obviously having a huge effect on Barcelona, and everybody's eyes are looking at this team, and a lot of people are kind of getting that German word, what's it called? Schadenfreude? I forget what I'm not saying it correctly, but joy at someone's a failure, misery, agony. Is an expression, but I feel like a lot of people are getting that looking at Barcelona and the financial situation.
Unfortunately,
but
and it's not like, for me, it's not like, honestly, it's not the players' fault. I think it's more so the Joan Laporta and his people. Not. Yeah. The players are doing whatever they could. I mean, a lot of the players, they're getting older, so the ones that are getting to cut their salary, they're kind of seem like how you would say, like not respected as they should.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing.
Right. And it's having an effect too on some of the crowds in Barcelona. Like they started booing certain players, like Braithwaite. They started booing him. I don't know why, but people were speculating that it was because he did not want to take a pay cut. And, obviously he hasn't performed to what was expected or what could have been desired of him, but still, like, booing your players in a preseason game against Pumas in Camp Nou is not a good look. It just kind of shows that Barca has a segment of fans, and all teams have a segment of fans that are just frankly toxic and just they are looking for someone to blame, right? But this is kind of a complex issue, man.
The one question that I have for you is, do you think with everything that they're doing, they're going to accomplish going further in the Champions than what they've done in the past 3 years?
Yes, I feel very certain that they can get way further in the in La Liga. They can actually fight for La Liga and win it. Because you look at what Xavi did when he came in with the players that he had, and the reinvention of that locker room and the system, and just how they started playing with more joy and idea, true to a little bit modernized tiki-taka style. And you just look at the arsenal that he's building with reinforcing his back line with Kounde, having a true striker like Lewandowski, getting some quality midfielders that have good touch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rafinha has, wow. Like,
he came from Leeds, right?
Leeds United. What?
They snubbed it from Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean we've been stealing we've been stealing Chelsea players. At the end of the day, business is business.
Yeah,
and we're doing some shady shit, and we're also getting reprimanded for it. So it's kind of a shaky time. I kind of want just to see the ball roll and for the boys to start playing, and for Barcelona's like execs and board to figure this all out. And
yeah,
but I know it's not that simple. So we're literally waiting day by day to hear news from what's going to happen in Barcelona, man.
Yeah, the first step will be to getting these guys registered. I mean, they're going to have to come up with something and getting them registered. The deadline, I believe, for the closing of market, they have to have them registered by August 31st.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they still got another 21 days. So, we can have to, Laporta has to open up an OnlyFans or something so we can raise funds.
I feel like OnlyFans is just a solution to a lot of things, Richie.
I know, right?
Nah, man. It's gonna take a lot of OnlyFans to save Barca, but we're fans right here, and we're gonna support them, and hopefully Saturday, August 13th will be their first game against Rayo Vallecano
at 2:00
at 2 p.m. Central. Can't wait to see the football. Although the conversation you already know is going to be about the economic and the signings and stuff.
For me is I stopped watching Barcelona after the Frankfurt game last year, last season, because I was like, man,
you were heartbroken.
I was heartbroken, and I'm like, how can we do this, knowing that for me is the way they lost that game. That was for me it was just like a hurtful thing to see.
No, it was hurtful.
And I was like, man, I need to stay away from him. I need a break from Barcelona.
Right. So, but I mean,
I still got love for it.
Love is pain, bro.
But I'm like, hey, wait, make me happy.
Fresh start, new season. A ver qué pasa.
Yeah, man. Hopefully,
I'm predicting La Liga, por lo menos.
Hey, we have
Una Copa del Rey.
You have to start. So that's the thing. We have to start. If Barcelona wants to do something, they have to start step by step. The first step has to be La Liga. You can't be wanting to win it all when you're still building a foundation.
Yeah.
Find themselves in the long-term part of La Liga, because the short-term is the champions, and the champions tienes que entrar. Maybe the group stage you get some slack, but when you go in the knockout rounds, that's when you have to. By then, you have to be already be proven that you're a team that that's willing to compete. And I think for Barcelona, what they want to do, it's possibly going to take longer than just 4 or 5 months for them to actually get in a place where they can win the Champions League. So if they win La Liga this year, I'm going to have more, I always have love for Barcelona, but I'm going to have a little more hope, or a little more it's going to be a little more a serious project for me, rather than going back to we don't win a Liga, we get knocked out, quarterfinals or even octavos, and then we don't do anything in La Copa del Rey. So just go for La Liga, La Copa del Rey, and do the best we can in the Champions League. So
for sure. And I mean, going back to Barca, why Barca? Why do I follow Barca? I'm not from Barcelona. I've been there once, but going back to the early 2000s or mid 2000s, you saw the ball at the feet of Ronaldinho. It's hard not to fall in love with that. It's hard not to fall in love with the come up of Iniesta, Xavi. The Rafa Marquez, player that I looked up to my whole life. I was a center back growing up. Just seeing players play with such quality and joy, and that really kind of elevated football to a different level, was something that was unforgettable for me. And it's why I really love this club. And I always felt that when Barcelona wins, football wins. So, not to say my expectations are to a level of unrealistic views, but I really, really hope that all these moves that are happening are a true good gamble and payoff, because man, oh man, are they stacking themselves up with so much pressure right now.
A lot of pressure. Yeah. I feel the pressure, and I'm like, man.
Hey, but speaking of pressure, man.
Austin FC,
man. What's going on, bro?
Dude,
what,
I told
the Fortress?
Man, I told you, man, that home game advantage for us, it's not where it's at this season.
Dude, it reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit. Like every team that comes in, Rick James just gets on our couch and like, fuck your couch. That's what teams are doing to us, man, more or less. I mean,
well, we're also doing the same when we go away.
Right.
I think that the players do feel that until they win again, they do feel the pressure of playing at home because of I believe that they're kind of like pressured or they're pressuring themselves to not fail. They come out a little stiff. You can see it. You know, even Fagundes came out a bit stiff for this game. Luckily, we scored early, but then we got scored right after that.
Yeah, so the game against San Jose last Saturday ended in 3-3. The first goal, beautiful header goal from Cascante. Diego Fagundes put in an amazing cross, his 60th assist in his MLS career.
That's good, man. Congratulations.
Oh, man, that man is always racking up numbers. So shout out Diego for continuing such a long, successful career. Followed by that, we had a fluke goal by San Jose off of a cross that came in kind of low, and the guy kind of chipped it and went over Stu. Stu was like being a little aggressive on it, trying to come out. That's one of those goals that you kind of look around and you're like, who do you blame? Like everybody was pressing, everybody was kind of following their man and compressing, and it was just kind of an unlucky.
Cosas de fútbol.
It's an unlucky bounce, right?
Yeah.
Ugly ass goal. So we respond. No, actually, no. The second goal that San Jose made was right after that.
Right.
Stu comes out in a corner, punts it out with his fist. Is a little late to get back on his line, and what are you gonna? How do you stop that golazo, man? That shot.
Yeah.
That was like one of the top goals of the MLS week.
Yeah,
dude.
cuando es un golazo, you gotta take it. You gotta, you know.
I take my hat off and I say, "Congratulations, sir. That was a golazo." So we were down 2-1 at that point. And then Ethan Finley, who's been having an amazing season and who's getting all these rumors and competitions with have you Corozo or have you the incoming Rigoni.
Yeah.
He's continuing to perform at such a high level. He puts in a nice diagonal ball to an incoming, totally unmarked Sebastián Driussi, our MLS All-Star, and he buries it.
Right.
He buries it. So that takes the game to 2-2. And then the second goal Driussi scored, bro, he literally fought through a defender and a goalkeeper and tapped it in. Like, how did it? ¿Cómo le salió? No sé, güey, pero.
Wait, it's magia.
Yeah,
magia.
It's Driussi magic.
It's magia, más que nada. You can. And then there's one thing that Driussi signing changed the face of Austin FC for last season and what's going on with this season. Because you already have players. It's not like, say, with Austin FC, it's not like they didn't compete or they didn't, come through and wanted to play. But it's just they have someone that knows about the game, that understands the game and the positioning of the game and where to move. But he's also helping his teammates get better. When you have that in your team, you're already coming in as you're going to compete like physically, mentally, anemically. You're going to compete with good football.
Yeah. I would say he plays on a different level, like a different dimension. Like Driussi's like Neo, man. He's like seeing things and he's moving mentally at a quicker level. Like some of the, I don't know how many túneles he did, just the spaces he gets into, the way he gets out of pressure.
Right. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah. It's nothing like super, super fancy, although he is capable of fancy stuff.
Right. And he chooses not to be fancy. I think he'd rather be simple and like have his teammates look good than him just take the whole ball and take everybody.
Right.
But
so, yeah, man, I say we continue this conversation after a break.
Sorry, we're back from the break. It was a technical break that we had to take.
Welcome back, everybody. Picking it up right where we left off. Right off the Driussi brace that made the game 3-2 at the time. We were up. So we felt that we had fought back into this game to a victory. We thought we were going to cruise into victory. And I think the coaching staff also felt that they could hold this one off by making a few substitutions. I believe they put in Felipe. Oh, they changed the wingers too. They took out Diego.
They took out Diego. Driussi came out. They brought in Redes.
Lord Redes.
And Owen Wolf.
Owen Wolf came in the midfield.
Martins came in.
Put him as like a center forward, something weird.
Center forward. And then Hosen was in for Digite for Urruti.
Yeah, and it really that strategy ended up backfiring because as we know, in the 80th minute, Ivo Vice of San Jose Earthquakes came back with a header that is so frustrating to watch because you saw Gabrielson and blanking on his name, Cascante, kind of get lost and leave Lima alone to mark this incredible player who managed to rise way above like a couple heads to end up tying the game. A tie that at the end of the day feels more like a win to San Jose coming into Q2, being able to withstand the pressure and the goals against and come back and claw back to get 1 point from this tough fixture. But I mean, I think the league is kind of looking at the Austin FC Q2 stadium as not that strong of a field. It's a field that is going to give them opportunities to come back, whatever the result. So just kind of looking forward. I mean, I know we have this game against Sporting Kansas Cities soon, but if I were LAFC looking at this and Austin FC still in the second place, running the closest to you, I would be licking my fingers, just like rubbing my hands, doing the little Birdman. I can't wait to come to Q2 and give these guys, show them who the super. Hope this is a wake up call for the entire staff and the entire team, because at the end of the day, I feel like everybody shares the responsibility of this loss.
Right.
No, there's no one person to blame. You can't blame Brad. You can't blame the defense. You can't just blame the forwards. You can't just blame the coaching staff. Everybody deserves some type of responsibility, with the exception of probably Sebastian Driussi, who scores a brace, sets up his teammates, does amazing work. And Fagundes, whose work rate is incredible and always puts in an assist. But it's just, I don't know, mentally and making. And this game, it had fluke goals, like it was a tough one to get tied, very frustrating. But if you look back, you can see moments where the team could have done better.
So, are you alarmed by this result at home?
I'm not sounding the alarms, but I think what separates Austin FC from an elite team is like elite teams are able to close out games at home and protect leads and dominate, if not the entire game, at least always feel in control of the result. Whereas Austin FC has an incredible spirit, but almost always has to play from behind in order to have like a sense of urgency to perform, or have to play against some type of adversity, whether it be playing as a visitor or playing from a lower standpoint in terms of the result. But so you got teams like San Jose, bottom of the bracket coming. Where's the pressure? It's like, it's almost like you were talking about pressure, maybe playing at home, but I feel like maybe it's lack of urgency, lack of taking it like as serious as they can, and really pushing through the finish line.
So, the whole, winning teams know how to close the game. We do. I mean, for what we've seen, in the standings and with the games we won, we do very good at that. Away, at home is a different story. I mean, away it feels like as we have more control. Yes, there's times that we struggle, but we get the results. But but at home, that's where it's just something about it that it's killing us. Which for me is now, if we get to the playoff part, we have to really just consider this as a major thing to focus on because if we're gonna be playing home games, by the way we're standing in the table, is that gonna be good enough for us to to defend and to build back as this is? And I would say like whenever you play at home, it's kind of a hard thing to call it fortress because in football anything can happen unless you're Bayern Munich, you're this top teams, or even Real in el Bernabeu. I think, but you have to take advantage of that the home part and points. We're not losing, but also we need to win. I think a couple of wins will change the dynamic. Um, One thing that I want to also say is the whole taking blame, like blaming in a specific player. It's not good because, like you said, it's a whole team effort. It's you win as a team, you lose as a team. It's not Fagundes FC or I mean Driussi is it's bound to be an MVP hopefully, but it still is not like Driussi FC or Cascante FC is Austin FC. So I'm not a big fan of people just going out there and shitting on players when they have a bad day. I think that should not be the case. It's a bad day, you have to recover from that. But at the end of the day, it's about the team. And I do feel as a team they're taking this loss as a team itself and not a blame on a person, which is good and it's crucial because that goes with the bound, not the bound, but like the fellowship they have among the team, among the players. It's great, the relationship and how they get along. You rarely in this season you rarely see that someone is blaming another player for a mistake. That's another factor that we have to consider if we go to the playoffs. You say Redes misses, you don't never see the players getting at Redes, looking at Redes, and giving them shit. Like they're like, "Hey, wait, get the next one, get the next one." So that gives you a little push of motivation to keep going and keep competing. But we just have to, do what we can at home. We have to make this our strength. Make this place where nos respetan porque nos respetan. Porque, o sea, nos están respetando ahorita. I mean, everyone outside of Austin FC is actually thinking of us and taking it serious. So we just have to continue to build on that. And Josh Wolf is knowing how to handle situations better, which is good, and that's another good thing to see. The way he gets along with the players, the way he addresses even the media. For someone like Jorge to say that, Josh Wolf has improved, that shows that okay, you got to take that serious because he's very critical.
Yeah, but I think it's our job to be critical, man. Because like I look at I understand what you're saying about team unity, and it's great to see, and the guys have each other's backs, and then no one's gonna be to blame. But when I see Felipe Martins tweeting like, "Remember who we are. Remember what we're not done yet. We want more. We win together. We lose together. We draw together. Cry together." Great message, but since that game against Atlanta FC, what have you done?
Yeah,
when you've stepped on the field,
you have to. So
you gotta recognize the unity and the good things, but you also gotta acknowledge like, hey man, if you're coming off the bench, you gotta come stronger. You gotta come better, dude, because it wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look, and the way San Jose was just kind of going through our midfield, it felt like kind of coming straight down the middle. It was alarming. And when we have options on the bench like Corozo, someone that can have a more of a attacking mindset, and then the incoming Rigoni, who has the qualities to be that partner that Driussi needs up top as well, or an additional partner. You kind of would hope that in the future Josh Wolf would consider these options more, instead of trying to have someone that has the work rate to come back and defend, which is important. But we've seen that our greatest defense is when we're moving forward, when we're keeping the ball, when we're keeping our foot on the gas. The moment you kind of let go.
The teams are learning how to break through our midfield. And this is something that I've seen every time they score a goal, an early goal. They've learned how to break between the line between Cascante Gabrielsen
Mm-hmm.
and Ring and Pereira. They know how to get through like those four guys. And that's a crucial part because a lot of the goals that like we get scored on, they're not from crossings and not even like it's like set pieces. A lot of them come from that inside part. We really have to just pay attention. And I think like you're saying, Martins is in that position. So as we win, or we tweet something that we also have to be responsible for what we say. If we're saying we're gonna improve, we win, we lose together, we lose together. Yeah, but you have to also do everything you can to when you come in, whatever you say in a tweet has to be an effect and an actual reality in the field.
Yeah.
But what's your prediction against Kansas City at home?
I'm a little bit pessimistic. Not like completely, but just looking at the trends.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say a tie 2-2, because just seeing how Austin has played at home, it hasn't been too promising.
Mhm.
They've almost played to the level of their opponents.
Mhm.
And this Kansas City team comes off of a win against LA Galaxy. Not too long ago, I think they beat them 4-2 or 4-1. And we're coming kind of with people are starting to question our ability at home.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess it's like a little bit pessimistic, but yeah, I'm gonna say a tie 2-2, because last time my prediction for this
I
game was
think
like
everyone predicted a
I
blowout,
thought it
a
was gonna be
win.
5-0.
Yeah. And what did I say? It's gonna be a short one, 1-0, or a close one.
And it was we've been off
Yeah.
the mark. So I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
like
I've been no, I'm just playing. No,
we'll say 2-2,
two
man.
two. I think
2-2.
we're gonna take the win, 1-0, close 1-0. Maybe they're gonna do everything to defend, and I think they're gonna be a bit more conservative at first. I can see the game being a very like not so dynamic first half, but second half they're gonna want to look for it, and you're gonna see the magic of Fagundes. Iruti's gonna score
He's due. He's due for a goal, man. He
because LAFC is coming, a couple of weeks after that. So you need
they're coming in hot.
they're gonna be coming in hot. So we just need our guys to come through and one goal and they don't get scored on. That's it. But the whole point now is don't get scored on more than. I mean, of course, you want your strategy has always should always be to win and score. But now it's like don't get scored on first, and then we can worry about scoring.
I hope our boys wake up and prove me wrong and make a statement game where they come out and they come out firing on all cylinders, because that's crucial leading up to the late August game, which we're all kind of looking forward to. But at the same time, we can't continue to underestimate our opponents and
Mm-hmm.
think like I underestimated. I underestimated San Jose last week when I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna blow them out. No, man. The team has fight. It had spirit. It surprised me. Gave us a golazo. Gave us that fight. Something that we've seen when we're on the road, but we don't see when we're at home. So, yeah, man, I hope they can prove me wrong this Saturday and pull off a win against Sporting Kansas City. But, yeah, my prediction is a tie. So, what did you say? What was your prediction?
1-0, Ruti.
1-0, Ruti. Yeah, I think Ruti will score. I think maybe they'll give Driussi rest because he's coming off of the MLS and maybe off of a little knock, a little injuries. I don't know, something. We've heard some rumors about him feeling a little knock after that game against San Jose.
Right, and we just got done watching the MLS game. It was a 2-1. MLS took it. And the All-Star MLS took it 2-1.
Yeah.
Second year in a row.
Questionable penalty, but I mean that's the game, bro. There's VAR. They should be able to verify that.
I think it as MLS is gonna try to win it. Liga MX is starting to give a little more shit about it, but it took them a while. they released the lineup like a couple of weeks ago. That shows how much they really don't care about this game. But you said earlier that there was an interview with the president of La Liga MX that he's a bit, starting to rethink his priorities.
Yeah, I believe it was an interview he did on ESPN Deportes or ESPN Sports. It was actually in English. He was with Hercules Gomez and those guys. And they were asking him his thoughts on the MLS and Liga MX comparisons. And he mentioned how he kind of looks at the MLS and the level of investment and the growth it's had in the recent years. And he is worried that the Liga MX doesn't have the same or more investment into their league from different business relations or associations, their league is going to struggle to compete in the future with the MLS. And he recognizes the growth and he recognizes what we're doing. And it's just an interesting thing to hear when you're saying that the Liga MX didn't even release their team until recently, and sometimes it seems like they don't take it as seriously.
Right.
But I don't know if you ever played like a game with a guy or anyone, and they're like, when you're winning, they're like, I don't even care about this. It's a bad look.
Yeah.
It's a bad look because it shows that deep down inside they got some insecurity issues. You know what I mean? Like they can't compete with you full on. And another thing about this whole All-Star Liga MX MLS weekend or midweek event, the skills challenge from yesterday. That's interesting to see because there's like a crossbar challenge, a penalty shot challenge, a touch challenge. Very interesting little games that I had never seen in any other league before. And I think it tells you something about the American sport culture because, we have the basketball all-star game, the dunk contest, the home run derby, the NFL, I forget what they call it, but it's like kind of a skills-related thing.
The combine?
No, not the
combine. I forget either.
I forget what it is, but we make games to demonstrate like skills, how superhuman these people are. And we capitalize on that, and it's kind of special. It's kind of unique to the MLS league.
Well, I was looking at it, and then Antuna was having he was supposed to be serving the passes to the guy that was that one cornhole looking game where they give you a pass and you have to put it in a hole.
Oh, it's a touch challenge where like they give you the pass and you got to chest it and like lob it into these targets, and each target has an amount of points.
And it can't fall on the ground. And then Antuna was just giving the shittiest passes. But Antuna's demeanor when he was making a pass is kind of not really giving a shit. And it's like, okay, they're not taking this serious, right? Whatever. But these other guys right here in MLS, they're taking it serious.
Yeah, dude.
They're all chanting, they're all going they're all celebrating every time someone does well. HH did great on that touch
on the penalty
challenge,
the penalty challenge,
and he was kind of praised by all his teammates. And then the Mexican players are just they were serious, como que no querías estar ahí.
I think HH was just happy to finally win something because our boys in Houston are not doing too hot.
Cálmate, Iturralde.
I'm just saying, bro. He's probably finally a W.
Finally, I get to celebrate. Yeah.
But you see, like you were saying, the MLS guys were celebrating and happy and enjoying themselves. They had big smiles on their faces. Chicharito was doing chilenas and
he was doing good. Also serving those passes the same way that Antuna should have done it. And Chicharito was on point. They were like, man, Chicharito actually can pass. And Antuna was pretty off. But Mexican players have to change their motive and they have to change their priorities to how they view soccer. Because time is flying. And we went from 2006 thinking man, you know what? We can probably compete to win a World Cup. Ever since then, we have not been able to have the mentality of going out to compete and try to win something. We always go almost last place, like almost like repechaje, or almost where the coach is almost out, but there's never a process where en la selección, where things are taken serious. Siempre estamos llegando
Yeah.
al golpe.
No,
O de golpe.
and if you look to last time there was a MLS Liga MX All-Star Week. I believe the MLS team won that year. Soon after that, we had the CONCACAF qualifier against USA.
They won.
USA wins. We go play. Mexico goes to play Canada. Canada wins. Mexican soccer has taken a few consecutive L's.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of worrisome to look at a growing league and kind of a nation that has exported a lot of players to Europe. But not only that, you look at a player like Carlitos Vela,
mm-hmm.
quality, amazing, can play probably in
world class.
World class.
Pero
and he doesn't really like to play for the national team.
Yeah. There's todo el drama que
There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of egos and mentality and history.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of sad. And you look at the World Cup. The Qatar here is in a few months, and we don't really have answers to those questions.
Yeah,
it's just more of we'll see what happens.
One good thing that I'm seeing in Mexico is there was they started exporting several players.
Oh yeah, some recent signings. Santi Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Where did he go? Ajax.
Feyenoord.
Oh, Feyenoord. There was another player that went to Ajax, no?
Jorge Sanchez. And Lainez is joining Pisuto in Praga.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Gutierrez.
Yeah.
And PSV, he scored a goal against I forget the team, but he scored a goal for them to go to the next round in the Champions League qualifiers. We're hopefully going to see a couple more players like Naveda from America. He went to Poland. He's going to Poland and play there. So hopefully we get to see more and more of these players leave because, okay, I would rather have a Mexican player go to Holland, go to Portugal, where those are kind of like developmental leagues, and then make the step to Italy, Spain, England, or even France. But at least when you go to other leagues from these two leagues, you have a better foundation. You have a better, you already understand the game. You understand the European way of playing. So when you adapt to La Liga, it's easier. Like say H, he actually ended up not doing bad at Atletico, and Atletico has a stacked team.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of competition for a position, and he started some games. Yeah, he probably didn't start all the games, but he started some pretty crucial games. Was just from the ground up, and Betis, he's like an icon. So I hope more players in Mexico consider going to Europe, at least to Portugal and Netherlands, because that's a league that nos favorece mucho, and they can build from there. I would rather have a young player go there than stay and go to Tigres or Monterrey. I mean, yeah, we still gonna have Mexican players in Mexico, but I would rather have someone out, like, just experience something different. Experience a different mentality.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Go play in a place that's hard to adapt, hard culture, hard language, cold weather. But that soccer culture and school that is highly competitive, and that'll teach you how to defend well, how to play out from the back well,
Mm-hmm.
how to improve your touch and make those decisions a lot quicker than the pace that we play here on this side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Those things will help you, but also taking everything that you learned over there and bringing it back here and staying hungry. Staying hungry, that's huge, because you look at a player on the U.S. side like Christian Pulisic. he plays at Chelsea, he's played Champions League, he's played big things. Yeah, he's not a starter. He comes off the bench most of the times.
But they're hungry, dude.
But he's hungry, and when he comes to play for the USA, he's playing like he has something to prove, man. Like he has to do something. And a lot of times, what happened with the Mexican players that played abroad, when they would come back, they would come like a little bit like un poco creídos.
Yeah.
Como no le echaban, they wouldn't put as much heart into it as maybe a Liga MX player or something.
Yeah.
That's like it's a double-edged sword, you know. Don't get complacent, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of things going on with European soccer right now. You know, we talked a little bit about Barca earlier, but the European leagues are about to kick off. The Premier League started last weekend. Got to catch the first game of that, Arsenal, with Ernie, our buddy who just...
I went to the tavern, no?
We went to the tavern.
Did Ram go there?
I ran into Ram.
Okay.
I ran into Chris Rubio, a few other people at this Arsenal bar. And it was real cool to watch the game in that environment. Truly like a pub style environment where everybody's singing the songs and the chants and just fully into the game and tuned in and just, you know, plugged into the game. You don't see a lot of that unless you go to a Premier League bar like that, which is why that's why I love the Premier League so much. Not only because of the amazing quality, but how much the U.S. fans have embraced it and created small little subsects of communities from it. And actually, one of the guys I saw there, Chris Rubio, he's a listener of the pod. He told me a correction from like the previous podcast. We were talking about Austin FC and how they were in the running for the community. What's it called?
The Community Shield?
Is the Community Shield?
Yeah. That's what I've...
He corrected me on this.
What did he say?
I don't remember. I'll look it up. But nah, it's cool. Anytime we screw it up here on the pod, we welcome corrections.
Now I'm gonna look and be like, what is it?
No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But it's cool. It means people are listening.
Right.
We do this as a passion project, and we've seen some growth. But it's always cool when someone comes up to you and is like, "Hey, man, I like what you guys are doing. I like this episode was fire. This is what I think." Or, "Hey, have y'all thought about this?" Like, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get these types of people involved because, you know, as much as I love doing this with Richie, I also love when people come with their ideas, voices, and opinions about what we're doing and how we can do it better. So I appreciate y'all.
And one thing that we have in mind in the future is to have fan reactions, but inside, like in here. So
yeah, kind of like Austin FC fan analysis. Like, so people come here and discuss their thoughts on the game and what they see through their perspective and their lens, because we all come from different backgrounds. And something that's special about the MLS is how many new fans there are, how many people that are maybe used to watching other sports that got into soccer and fully embraced it. They come with a fresh set of eyes and fresh set of ideas and really respect for the analytical side of it, like the number side, the statistical side, that we appreciate and maybe we don't have as much yet.
Yeah, and we're gonna be doing that because we want to get other people's perspective about the game, especially as new fans, like you said, and also like Jorge said, whenever he came here, he was like, everybody wants to be an analyst. Everybody wants to talk about soccer in a microphone. So our goal was just gonna be to bring people that want to talk and analyze and discuss what they think about the game, what they think about certain situations. It all with the hopes of building some kind of in a way where we don't do too many hot takes or getting fights with debating with each other. We're even more like, hey, I want to hear your perspective and I want to see, like where did you see that one particular play that I didn't pay attention to or that particular run. So it would be pretty cool. Be on the lookout in our Twitter.
For sure. And back to Chris Rubio's correction, it's Supporter Shield. Community Shield is the English Premier.
Oh, okay. Supporter Shield.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Hey, man, we got to get it right here on Otra, por favor.
Supporters Shield.
We got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, bro.
Supporters Shield. You know what? How about this? Whenever they win it, we'll make sure it says Supporters Shield in that picture.
Nah, man. Well, is there anything else you want to touch on, Richie?
Nah, man. Just keep checking us out. Let us know what you think, and be on the lookout for anytime we want to do fan analysis collaboration. We'll post them on Twitter or Instagram, and then we'll set up a list, set up dates, and we'll take it from there.
Perfect, man. So, good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode 54 of Otra, por favor.
Se portan bien, se cuidan y nos vemos el sábado. Adiós.